There is a SHEINfestation hitting our thrift stores. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Rose. I make music and now I make videos. And one thing that I have observed as a huge proponent and user of thrift stores is the huge influx of Shein items flooding these secondhand locations. I'm also somebody who frequents swap meets, who frequents yard sales, garage sales, and I will say I have also definitely noticed an influx of these products at those secondhand locations as well. Just to give a brief history for anyone who doesn't know, Shein as a company has a really interesting origin story. Shein was founded in China in 2008 under the brand Zizco. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. It capitalized on a gap in the fashion market by selling cheap wedding dresses. The domain Sheinside was registered in March 2011, and the company finally rebranded to Shein in 2015. That means that any clothing item that we find with the label that says Shein is at the most only a little over a decade old. I think that's extremely important to note before we begin this adventure. As someone who goes to the thrift store more often than I do the mall, I began to notice over the past 5 or so years a lot more Shein items popping up as I browse the racks. As the years have gone on, they've just become more common and more common to come across, to the point where it's about every 5 or so items, it seems like I'm finding a Shein article. Although Shein's environmental impact has been known for years at this point, being declared the biggest polluter in fast fashion just in 2024, its cheap prices have still allowed it to prevail. That's awesome. As of right now, there is no publicly available data on how many items are physically sold daily or even yearly by Shein. Wonder why that is. But they did generate $38 billion in revenue in 2024. So we can assume that the number of items they're making daily is pretty high. Now, without further ado, let's see how many Shein items we can find at the thrift store. Okay, before we head into the thrift store, how many Shein items do you think we're gonna find?
At least 10.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good guess. Okay, now that we got here, I'm really nervous that there's not going to be enough Shein items to like make an interesting video. So I'm gonna guess 5 to 10 because that seems reasonable. Okay, something I didn't even consider until just now too is that I don't think everything that is Shein will have a Shein label on it, because so many of them just have this and no brand with that made in China tag. So I'm a little nervous that's gonna mess things up, but let's see.
With that in mind, we proceeded with our plan. So we didn't pull anything that had a generic label, only things that directly said Shein were pulled for our pile, just to play it safe.
As soon as I have them stop recording, we hit our first one. The first Shein skirt. Oh, yeah. I can see why someone wouldn't want to own this anymore. It's not good quality.
I found my first one.
Oh, East Hampton Village.
Not generic at all.
Nothing like it. Honorable mention to all of the LuLaRoe that has ended up in the thrift stores over the years. Okay, this is not a video about LuLaRoe, so I will spare most of the details right now, but I highly recommend the 2021 documentary Lula Rich if you're interested. Long story short, it was a very popular multi-level marketing or pyramid scheme business that was founded in 2012 and is still in business? Yeah, I was actually shocked that they are still in business considering the bad press that this documentary was for their brand, but yeah, if you're curious, highly recommend Lula Rich. It's an excellent rabbit hole. Okay, here's another find. This set, it's so thin and such a weird material. Another one.
I don't really know what this is.
It's not good. Okay, sadly, I thought this one was really cute. I was looking for the label on it. I might have to save this one from the cycle.
In the arms of the
The influx of Shein clothing that is available at the thrift right now also raises a second and almost more important question. Is it morally acceptable to buy Shein secondhand? Let's get into it. In my personal opinion, the answer is yes and no, depending on what the most important principles are to you. Here's why. A lot of this is subjective depending on your principles, the amount of money that you're making, and your priorities when purchasing clothing. Buying Shein secondhand does allow you to not directly support the company while still enjoying the latest trends and puts that money back into your community. For that reason, I would not see it as inherently immoral to buy Shein secondhand. However, the materials that Shein uses are often questionable and at their worst can be hazardous to us and our environment. Greenpeace retested Shein products in 2025, yes, last year, and found that 18 of the 56 garments that they tested contained hazardous chemicals exceeding the limits set by the European Chemicals Regulation, REACH, including 3 items of children's clothing. These chemicals include phthalates, which are endocrine disruptors that can impair growth, fertility, and child development, and PFAs, also known as forever chemicals. Here's some information about PFAs from Greenpeace because I could not word it better myself. Extremely persistent in the environment, PFAs can accumulate over time, reaching acutely toxic concentrations. Some of these substances can also build up in the human body and are suspected of being carcinogenic. They can impair fertility and child development, weaken the immune system, and disrupt liver and kidney function. Here's where it gets even better. PFAS exposure may also increase the risk of thyroid and metabolic disorders. Highly mobile in the environment, these forever chemicals contaminate groundwater, rivers, oceans, and even remote regions. So, as you can see, what makes this tricky is that customers are exposed to these chemicals not only through direct contact with their skin and inhaling fibers in the air, but also when they enter the environment during washing or disposal. So is the answer that you can technically buy and wear Shein clothing secondhand ethically as long as you don't wash it? I really don't know. I guess that would be my conclusion right now. Let's get back into it though.
Another one. This one is hideous and
Oh, that's
doesn't
really
look like
not
it would wash well. Yeah,
not
no.
good.
This looks like a formal wear, like maybe for a wedding or graduation, whatever. Which
I would-
actually is what Shein started out as, which is ironic. It is really starting to annoy me that y'all aren't even using Shein to like slay on a budget. Y'all are using it to make the worst fashion decisions I've ever seen. What you find?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
This looks like
oh
paper bag.
no.
As
It's like a
dress.
coppery color that could almost be pretty. It's not.
It's not. What have we got?
Oh
here?
my god. That one's really special. Oh.
Interesting.
Looks like a Jesus type dress. Here we have She World. Sus. Here's another one.
Another one.
I'm just gonna start posing with these like a fish. Okay, counting sets as individual items. We found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 items in just the dress section.
It was at this moment that I realized we might be in a little over our heads. I sent my boyfriend to check out the men's section while I speed ran the women's swim. Seeing how much this section was absolutely dominated by Shein was really concerning, especially considering how they could contain chemicals that specifically have a negative impact when they enter our water sources. I think for this reason, our views on fast fashion swim need to be even stricter than they are with regular fast fashion. There were also several items with the same type of label from an unlabeled swimwear company. I'm wondering if it's another fast fashion swimwear company that is popping up. It does seem like that's happening more and more with swimwear, especially. So keep an eye out if you see something really cheap and affordable that pops up in swimwear that seems too good to be true. It probably is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the swimsuit section. I also realized of the swimsuits, I only did one half as well. So there's a whole other section here I didn't account for. Just found another rogue one in the men's short sleeve shirt section. Okay, walking out to my car right now to get some delicious
Energy drink.
I do not know if I'm gonna make it through this whole store. In fact, I know for a fact I'm not going to make it through this whole store. This is crazy. I can't believe how much we're finding.
I went through the entire men's section and haven't found a single Shein piece, so we need a morale boost and we're gonna try on the cool stuff we found.
Hey, let's go. See the new glasses. We like the pants, but we decided that the top might be a little too 2015. But
For sure.
what an artifact, though. It's a good one. Well, unfortunately, I feel like this would be really cute if it wasn't so cheap that it was the right size.
I think it's cute as hell.
I know, I think it's really cute too.
Work.
Shame.
What I'm doing while I'm waiting for her to try on all the things she actually likes.
Next, we moved on to the women's skirt section, where it only took about 10 seconds of searching.
Yep, there it is. First skirt. Skirt 2. See, unfortunately, I do think this was kind of cute, but another one. Here's another.
Me again. Sorry, my boyfriend cut me off on accident. It's fine, it's fine. We love you, Kai. We love you so much. I did just want to highlight how particularly offensive I find it when a brand like Shein tries to emulate handmade clothing. At first hand, I thought this skirt was really cute, and I honestly would have been looking at it to see what size it was and if it would fit me, because I would assume that it was handmade until I saw that signature plasticky Shein sheen on it and I saw the label. As somebody who is a small artist myself, I know what it's like to put hours into putting together a handmade item. I always strive to support small companies and creators who make handmade items. So it's especially insidious when Shein sells products that allow you to basically co-opt the aesthetic of something being handmade or like a bohemian aesthetic without any of the values that should inherently come with a product like that. Sorry, not only lacking those principles, but actively working against them. I just find that a little extra evil and incredibly offensive, but let's keep going.
Like I said before, trash.
Another Shein skirt with the texture of a washcloth.
Do not go to Shein to buy a skirt like this. I have thrifted every single houndstooth thing I own, and it is high quality because it's not Shein. In all fairness, I thought he was just showing me this one because it was ugly, but nope, it's both.
Ugly and Shein.
Did a combo, I found 3 in a row.
Oh,
As soon as I saw this pattern, I knew. Yep. So overall, we found 10 items in the women's skirt section.
Wait just a second. I know I had more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yup. Just like I thought. Moving on.
Not the women's pants section, just like these skirts alone. Crazy.
At this point, we were getting tired. My arms were sore from searching through the racks, and the store was about to close in about 30 minutes, and I did not want to stress those poor people out. So we put everything back that we were not planning on purchasing and headed to check out with our finds. The thrift gods blessed us on our adventures, and we ended up finding a few items and only spent $8.
So there you have it. On an average trip to the thrift store where we only spent about 2 or 3 hours in there browsing, we found 38 Shein items.
I am a little disappointed because I really want to do a whole store someday. Please leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see me attempt to do that someday. I think if I find maybe a little more manageable of a store, we could do a full thrift Shein haul.
I am not in any way trying to criticize people who donate their Shein clothing to the thrift store. I am actually very grateful that you are saving these fast fashion products from going straight to the landfill, and would, at this point, continue to encourage you to do the same and donate. However, as most of us already knew, the best practice is to stop these products from being produced in the first place by not supporting Shein or any fast fashion companies of that nature. The only way we can stop these garments from existing is to actively use our voice and vote with our dollar and not succumb to those low prices. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. I hope to continue to make content that centers around fast fashion and how that intersects with our pop culture. Bye. Side note, this is why you shop vintage, because they don't make them like this anymore. It's reversible. Reversible vintage Columbia swag. I'm foaming at the mouth.
They don't make them like they used to. I got this shit for $15.
Dang! Oh, and real quick, I also just put out a song called Mourning Dove, which is real art made by real people, 100%. So would love for you to support that as well. As we know, we have epidemics in many industries right now. Also, if my cat's licking gets in this video, I'm so sorry. Stop bathing yourself, son. I love you. Bye.